Hello everyone, trouble is afoot. Even Invictus is ditching the toxic twosome. Sure, that's bound to happen, and I'm glad about it. The truth is that neither Harry nor Meghan have changed for the better. They're still acting stupid and causing controversy. A typical example is Harry decided to make the announcement to American media on the same day as his eldest nephew, Prince George's birthday, and that Birmingham, UK, will host the 2027 Invictus Games. Perhaps America chose to withdraw their invitation because of the outcry over Prince Harry receiving the Pat Tillman Award. It was quite the debate, especially since Pat Tillman's mother, Mary, claimed that he was undeserving of the prize. Many US veterans and their families have been deeply distressed by this. The fact is that we know he was there to accept the honor for himself. He employed veterans on stage. It was awful enough before he went, let alone what he did after they got up and left, ruining the end of the show for other people who were truly there. Perhaps to celebrate the decent human beings who were very, very deserving of their medals. Just as for Birmingham, which has just received this magnificent accolade, I believe it will face its own shitstorm of blowback, because Birmingham City Council went bankrupt due to debts ranging from £650 to £750 million, or over $1 billion. So, do you know what Birmingham City Council has done to the people of Birmingham? They have informed them that they will raise their council tax by 21% over the next 2 years, while decreasing the public services that our council tax supports by $300 million. As a result, they will pay the highest rate of any city in the United Kingdom. They're reducing the number of bin collections they receive. I mean, having your rubbish collected is obviously good hygiene. They are reducing roadway maintenance. To be honest, with all of the rain we've had in the UK, if highway maintenance is reduced more, we'll end up with craters and potholes that jeopardize people's lives. Oh, and I forgot to mention another thing they are doing to Birmingham people. They dim the streetlights at night. As a result, all of the ladies and girls walking home from work will be put in even greater danger. Isn't that fabulous? But Canada had to give $30 million Canadian dollars to assist fund the massive Winter Games in Whistler, much to the concern of Canadian taxpayers. Now, I just want to clarify that I am not bashing the Invictus Games. I think it's a fantastic organization. The number of individuals who gather every year to make it an unforgettable occasion. It deserves far more credit than it is getting. I just don't like the way it's being run by those at the top, and they're already getting hammered with a lack of donations, sponsors, and even instances of veterans bailing out of games. Perhaps this is why the CEO, Mr. Dominic Reid, recently resigned. You may call it a resignation, whatever you want, but the reality is that he quit. Harry was unaware of it and swiftly issued a statement. Mr. Dominic Reid has also delivered a great farewell statement on the Forces Network. He did not mention Harry, the founder, once. He also leaves without a replacement. So, once again, this is rushed. This was not part of the long-term plan. So you wonder if he quit. It is clear that he did. But is it due to the Pat Tillman backlash? Even though Harry has received this award for a while, I think it will still be a stain on everyone's heart. Do you think Harry deserves the Pat Tillman Award? If yes, please comment on number 1 and vice versa. If no, please comment on number 2. Because they said, look, Harry, this isn't just hurting you, it's hurting the foundation as a whole. Did he go because, obviously, Birmingham is hosting it with a city that is in bankruptcy, has one of the highest tax hikes for members of the public who reside in that catchment area, and will now spend millions on hosting the games? Not only that, but it's very clear what will happen now that the Invictus Games are being held in the United Kingdom. There will be a lot of pressure from Harry, the media, and others who believe the royal family must attend. If they do not attend, it indicates that they do not support veterans. You know that level of poisonous reporting will be coming up, and Harry will be rubbing his hands with delight, because if the royal family leaves, he gets a little lift, doesn't he? Reminding people that he is a member of the royal family, and if they don't go, he can play the victim. saying, "Oh look, the royal family doesn't support the veterans, but I do." It's hardly unexpected that Mr. Reid thought, "Do you know what? I am not getting entangled in that nasty issue." In his farewell statement, Mr. Reid highlighted his respect for the games, the veterans, and how fortunate he is to have been a part of it. But it was time to move on. Mr. Reid was a member of the initial team responsible for the creation of the Invictus Games. As soon as this information was revealed to the public, Harry quickly issued his own statement, thanking his dear friend. Perhaps he could have considered doing so when he received the Invictus Games award. "The truth is that I am not standing here accepting the medal on behalf of Prince Harry. I am collecting it for the Invictus Games." That was another enormous large porcupine. We know that award was for Harry to pat himself on the back. He utilized the Invictus Games to try to lessen the blow. Just as he did with the veterans, he rudely forced to stay on stage to soften the blow, and maybe some of the booing. Rumors have long circulated that the Invictus major players attempted to redirect attention away from the wife, her fashion display, and her attention-seeking activities. And this has generated a lot of friction, not just with Meghan, but also with Harry, who has battled tooth and nail to keep his wife front and center. Mr. Reid appears to have been attempting to refocus attention on what the Invictus Games should be about for quite some time. That, of course, includes the games, the stories of the veterans, the families, and the support. So it appears that Dominic may have given up the goose, as they say. Remember, the entire trip to Nigeria was planned to coincide with the Invictus Games. You don't know that, do you? Instead, it was all about Meghan's newly discovered 43% Nigerian ancestry and her questionable dress. The same goes for the games in Dusseldorf. Meghan made the decision to reveal her ancestry before to the games. So, of course, the Nigerian team, who were there for their first representation of their country, made it all about Meghan and the fact that she is now a Nigerian sister. It makes you wonder what stump she'll take out of the hat when she gets to Whistler. I'm amazed she doesn't have indigenous blood at this stage. But just look at her face. Is it unexpected that the Invictus Games Germany component has split off? They've become their own foundation. You now have Invictus Germany with its own founder. And guess what? There is no mention of Harry or Meghan on their website. And they will hold their first games this year. For many people, this single video clip was the final nail in the coffin of Meghan Markle's influence over the games and her attention-seeking pranks. Yes, Dominic, like the majority of people, was clearly frustrated with Duchess No Pants. People turned and looked aside, and there was no clapping. That is not fair to the veterans, yet this is the issue. Unless Invictus, the top people, get a grip of this, only veterans will suffer. Harry and Meghan are making a mint of Invictus. As I previously stated, they were the ones who persuaded Netflix to produce half of Invictus. But Harry and Meghan did so as part of their multi-million-pound contract, and the Invictus Games were appropriately compensated. I have no idea how much the number is, but I can guarantee you that it will be far less than what Harry and Meghan received. No, not my words. There is obviously something corrupt to the core inside the Invictus Foundation. As previously stated, the Canadian portion featured those two significant figures. They put their heads above the parapet and reshuffled. So, with Mr. Reid retiring, given that Harry only came here a few weeks ago, and Harry had no idea this was coming his way, he did it right in the middle of Harry facing backlash for receiving the Pat Tillman Award. Lord Admiral West, who was once the chief of the UK Navy, said Harry should not take this accolade. Pat Tillman's mother, everyone knows, Harry should have declined that prize. But he did not. He got up on stage and utilized veterans as a buffer. But Dominic's decision to leave when he did, with all of that still going on, the fact that he has no replacement, the fact that he wanted the games to be a success, and the fact that he made no mention of Harry in his speech, all point to trouble within the Invictus Foundation. But rather than ending the video on a sour note, let's conclude it on a bitter one. So, a few videos ago, I mentioned that they have recently changed their dog bowl brands. You may buy a Holyrood House dog bowl, a pet bowl, and a Buckingham Palace one, which they were selling alongside the Highgrove strawberry jam. This prompted many people, including me, to speculate or hope that they were trolling Meghan and her Aro brand. Yes, I recall Aro, American, Riviera, and Orchard. Well, that's shortly gonna fail, and I'm 99% sure it'll end up like 40 by 40. The fact that she has not even purchased it yet, I guess she is hoping that people would forget about it. No, we are not going to. We'll never forget the bowls of jam brought out to so-called influencers and powerful individuals, or your pal Abigail Spencer rolling around on the grass with a bucket of lemonade. They're not going to forget about it now, either, because Holyrood House has introduced another new product, dry gin. Now, I understand that lemons go well with gin, but I can't help but think that this is planned, and that someone in marketing is literally saying, "Suck on those lemons, Meghan." In fact, it doesn't matter who may actually be funding the Invictus Games. It will cost the taxpayer dearly. 21% tax increase, so that Meghan Markle can change her outfit every other minute. You know, when Harry's wife walked in front of the veterans, I was horrified. The disrespect was shocking. I felt so bad for the injured men and women marching. Not only was it a disgrace that she walked in front of them, but she was dressed for a day at the beach. I just can't with her, and it doesn't stop. She is a despicable woman. That is my explanation. Do you agree with what I just said? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you very much for watching my video. Don't forget to support us by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Goodbye, and see you again.